Hello, everybody. It is good to have you here today. It is Wednesday, and this is our remote learning day where you're going to work independently. And I have a really great read aloud for you today. Excuse me. I know I always say this, but this is one of my favorite books, and there is a very special reason why this is one of my favorites, and I'll tell you about that. But we are going to read Thank You, Omu. And it is a Caldecott honor book. It's won a lot of awards. Has a really beautiful cover to it. The author is Og Mora, and I just really love the message in this book, and I hope you guys enjoy it as well. All right, we're going to go ahead and get started. Just so you know, at the end of the video, I'll show you your writing activity that you're going to be doing today, and also there will be a flip grid that I would like you to leave a response on. So Miss Doughton, Miss Weber, Miss Buckley, and Miss Fuertes will be putting those things in your assignments tab for you so that you have them accessible. So, all right. I'm going to make myself a little bit smaller here so that you can see the entire book. I want you to be able to focus on that. All right. So this book is Thank You, Omu by Og Mora. And the one thing I want you to notice is there is a way that the art is done. The drawings, the pictures, the art is done in this book, and it's called a collage. And we're going to learn about that in just a second, okay? All right. Excuse me. I'm going to make this a little bit bigger. What could possibly smell so yummy? Everyone in the neighborhood dreams of a taste of Omu's delicious stew. One by one, they follow their noses toward the scrumptious scent. And one by one, Omu offers a portion of her meal. Soon the pot is empty. Uh-oh, has she been so generous that she has nothing left for herself? Caldecott honor winner, Og Mora, who is the author of this book, brings a heartwarming story of sharing and community to life in her colorful cut paper designs, as luscious as Omu's stew, with an extra serving of love. And the author wants us to know something. This says note to the reader, and that's us. We're the readers. Omu, it's pronounced Amu. Amu. I was saying that wrong. My goodness. It's Amu is the Igbo term for queen. So this goes back to our book name books when we were reading The Name Jar and how Alma got her name. A couple other ones we read as well. So this Amu name means queen. So that's a great thing to know. All right. So today, Thank You, Amu by Og Mora. The objectives. This is what we're going to learn today. Describe how the characters in the book respond to events and challenges. So we're going to talk about how Amu might respond to what is happening in the book. Are there things that are happening? Is there events? Are there challenges? What is going on? And we also want to understand details in the book by using who, what, where, why, when, and how words. So we've been doing that already. We've been talking about who. Those are our characters. We've been talking about where and when. Those are our settings, where and when it takes place. And why and how. That's what happened at the beginning. Why is it happening? And how did the problem get solved? Our vocabulary today is gratitude, sharing, community, selflessness, generosity, and collage. So one thing I want you to do, I want you to look at this picture right now. I want you to look at this picture of these birds, okay? Just take a look at that. There's a lot of birds on there, probably like about 30 maybe. I'm not sure. I haven't counted them. But these birds are part of a community. So community is a gathering of people. We have our school community. You have your family, which is a community. The city of Seattle, the city of Bellevue, those are communities. So this is a community of birds in this picture. All right, let's go ahead and read this. If you'd like, you can read along with me. This is a community, many different kinds of birds. So we talked about that. That's our community. They are sharing. They're enjoying together. So they are sharing space in the picture. They are all getting along. They're not fighting. They're all happy. They're a part of a community and they're sharing. These birds are being generous. Oh, kind and giving. And showing selflessness thinking of others as part of their community of birds. So they're being generous. They're sharing their space. They're giving each other space in the picture. They're being selfless because they're not just thinking of themselves. They're thinking of each other in this picture. These birds have gratitude, which means thankful, for each other. So these birds are sharing. They're a community. They're thankful for each other. They're generous. They're giving, and they are thinking of others in this space. So that's a good way to kind of think about our vocabulary words. The other word I wanted to bring up is collage. A collage is a piece of art made by sticking various different materials, such as photographs, pieces of paper, or fabric, to a canvas. And this is a picture of a collage. I really liked this because I like kind of grizzly bears. And you can see if you look at this, there's a background that they put it on, but it's little scraps of different things that make up this picture of a bear. Now, materials for collages, they can be cardboard, burlap with just fabric, onion sacks, sand, dried leaves, twig seeds, cotton, feathers, lace, papers, netting, leather, transparent materials, feathers, yarn. I use a lot of newspaper or magazine clippings. So there's lots of different things that you can make a collage with. I thought this was a great collage because it really shows. I think this is a picture of a flower. It looks like there's some material, felt and cotton. This looks like a word out of a magazine, pictures out of a magazine. So there's all kinds of different materials that make this collage. This is a beautiful collage as well. So this is a collage of a bird and maybe somebody's house down here. Really, really great. It looks like they used a lot of newspaper and maybe even some old music sheets. Oh, and this is a wonderful collage too of a butterfly. They clipped out individual letters to spell the word fly high, butterfly. And if you look in here, I thought this was so cool. Who do you see? That is C-3PO, and here's another part of his body from Star Wars. So a collage can be so many different things. And that is why I really love this book, because it is a mix of so many different paper materials for collages. Even here on this first page, you can see there's newspaper, clipped papers, maybe part of a book. So really, really awesome. All right, let's get started. Thank you, Omu. I'll make this a little bigger. On the corner of First Street and Long Street, on the very top floor, Amu was cooking a thick red stew in a big fat pot for a nice evening meal. That sounds so good. She seasoned and stirred it and took a small taste. "What a delicious stew," Amu said. "Tonight's dinner will surely be the best I ever had." Oh, I can almost smell it right here through that page. And look at this. Look at her stew. Part of that collage I was talking about is they used paper with flowers on it to create the look of the stew. So beautiful. With that, Amu put down her spoon and went to read a book before supper. As the thick red stew simmered on the stove, its scrumptious scent wafted out the window and out the door, down the hall and toward the street and around the block until, knock, 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 someone was at the door. When Amu opened it, she saw a little boy. "Little boy," Amu exclaimed, "what brings you to my home?" "Well, I was playing with my race car down the hall when I smelled the most delicious smell," the little boy replied. "What is it?" "Thick red stew," said Amu. Stew," he sighed. "That sounds really yummy." Amu thought for a moment. She was saving her stew for dinner, but she had made quite a bit. It would not hurt to share. "Would you like some?" The little boy nodded. And so Amu spooned out some thick red stew from the big fat pot for her nice evening meal. "Thank you, Amu," the little boy said, and he went on his way. With that, Amu closed the door and went back to her book. As she read, her thick red stew's scrumptious scent wafted out the window and out the door, down the hall, toward the street, around the block, until... Knock, knock, knock! Someone was at the door. When Amu opened the door, this time she saw... a police officer. "Mrs. Police Officer," Amu explained, "what brings you to my home?" "Well, I was on duty down the street when I smelled the most delicious stew." Smell," Miss Police Officer replied. "What is it?" "Thick red stew," said Amu. "Ah, stew," said the Mrs. Policewoman, and her mouth watered. "That sounds mighty tasty." Question, I want you to think about this. Put on your thinking cap. Do you think Amu will show selflessness, meaning that she's thinking of others, and share her stew with Miss Police Officer? What do you think? Is she going to share her stew? Let's find out. Amu thought for a moment. There was still enough to share, she thought. "Would you like some?" The police officer nodded. Once again, Amu spooned out some thick red stew from the big fat pot for her nice evening meal. "Thank you, Amu," the police officer said, and went on her way. Amu's being very generous. I love that. She's feeding her community. And so, for the second time, Amu closed the door and went back into her book. And sure enough, as she read, her thick red stew's scrumptious scent wafted out the window and out the door, down the hall, toward the street, and around the block until... Knock, knock, knock! Again, someone was at Amu's door. This time, when she opened it, she saw... Who do you think she saw? Mr. Hot Dog Vendor! "Oh, Mr. Hot Dog Vendor," Amu exclaimed. "What brings you to my home?" "Well, I was selling my hot dogs down the block when I smelled the most delicious smell," Mr. Hot Dog Vendor replied. "What is it?" "Thick red stew." "Ooh, stew," the vendor licked his lips. "That sounds quite delectable." Uh-oh, I wonder, does Amu have enough stew to share? Will she show generosity to Mr. Hot Dog Vendor? What do you think? Yes or no? What do you think? Is Amu going to have enough stew to share? Is she going to be generous? Yes or no? All right, let's read and find out. So Amu spooned out some thick red stew from the big fat pot for her nice evening meal. "Thank you, Amu," the hot dog vendor said, and he went on his way. Oh, she was generous. She did share. Throughout the day, people from all across the neighborhood knocked on Amu's door. She fed a shop owner, a cab driver, a doctor, an actor, a lawyer, a dancer, a banker, an artist, a singer, an athlete, a bus driver, a construction worker, even the mayor stopped by. And each time they knocked, Amu shared. Wow. So I want you to think, why do you think Amu is willing to share her stew with everyone in her community? Why do you think she's willing to share her stew with everyone in her community? Okay? We're going to come back to that. That's going to be on your Flipgrid response, okay? All right. Soon the sky darkened, the streetlights brightened, and it was finally time for dinner. What are you noticing about her pot? But when Amu opened her big fat pot of thick red stew for her nice evening meal, it was empty. Oh, Amu doesn't have any stew left. Amu sniffed. There goes the best dinner I ever had. Sorry and blue, she sat at the table with her empty pot until... Knock, 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 knock. Who could that be? Amu wondered. When she opened her door, I wonder who she sees. The little boy, the police officer, the hot dog vendor, the shop owner, the cab driver, the doctor, the actor, the lawyer, the dancer, the baker. Why, everyone she fed today was at her door. I'm sorry, Amu sighed. My thick red stew is all gone. I have nothing left to share. The little boy tugged at Amu's sleeve. Don't worry, Amu. We're not here to ask. We are here to give. I wonder what they're giving. The police officer carried in a fresh salad. The mayor entered with a roast chicken. The baker brought a collection of sweet goodies. Even the little boy presented Amu with something special in a shiny red envelope. Everyone who had knocked on Amu's door that day squeezed inside her tiny apartment. And together they ate and danced and celebrated, while Amu's big fat pot of thick red stew was empty. Her heart was full of happiness and love. I want you to look closely at this picture. Collage of Amu and her community. How and why is everyone in Amu's community showing gratitude or thankfulness toward Amu? Why is everyone showing her gratitude? Everyone in the community came back and brought her something. Why are they doing that? We're going to answer that question in our Flipgrid, okay? All right, so we'll finish up. Author's notes. In Igbo, the Nigerian language of my parents, Amu means queen. Yet for me, growing up, it meant grandma. When my grandmother cooked, she danced and swayed her hips to the radio as she stirred what was often a large pot of stew. Everyone in the community had a seat at my grandmother's table. While my grandmother has since passed away, her giving heart has stayed with me. I see it in my mother, my grandmother, my teachers, my mentors, and other countless powerful women who shaped her life. So these are all people in her community. This book is a celebration of their giving spirit. Oops. Oh, sorry about that. I skipped pages too quickly. Uh-oh. What's going on here? There we go. Sorry about that. And then the last page of the book says, that dinner was the best that she had ever had. And the note was, thank you, Amu. All right. This is the back cover of the book. And today, this is going to be your writing assignment. So this will be in your Teams page. It's an I am so thankful sheet. So it says, the community showed Amu gratitude or thankfulness for sharing her stew. Amu is selfless and generous to her community. What we'd like you to do is draw and write about how you, the student, can be generous, kind and giving, and show gratitude, be thankful to others in your community and family. Here's your sentence starter. I can be generous in my community by, and you'll write how you can be generous or kind and giving. And your next sentence will be, I can show gratitude in my community by. So how do you show thankfulness? You can show thankfulness in your community by doing what? All right, remember, complete sentences. Use a capital letter where it's appropriate when it's somebody's name, and make sure and put punctuation at the end of your sentence. All right, again, I love this book. I've got my own copy right here. It's one of my favorites. I hope you enjoyed learning about collages and learning about Amu and her community. And as a last note, it says sharing is a lot like giving thanks. They both bring people together. Okay. All right, you guys, as always, I had a lot of fun reading with you. I hope you have a good day today. Make sure you leave a message on the Flipgrid and fill out your thankful worksheet, and we'll see you on Thursday. All right. Bye, everybody. Have a good day.